Welcome everyone. How's it going? Hello everyone. Hello. Who is ready for what is most likely going to be a very chaotic Qatar Grand Prix? Hey Alex, good to see ya. Good to see my only 2-year member with that lovely pink sub badge there. 2 years, man. That's how long it's been. Good afternoon, Jordan, Mark, Marlin. Good to see you guys. Good to see ya. Anything, even a max win instead of reality here and now. Well, we'll have a little run through in regards to what exactly is in store for this race, because there's been, some mandatory tyre life that we've been given from the guys at Pirelli. So it's going to be pretty much a 3-stop minimum race, and could even be a 4-stop race. Of course, Carlos Sainz, it has been announced that he is not going to be even starting this race, as they've had a fuel leak in the car and they've not been able to fix it. So yeah, gonna be an interesting one. But just waiting for my thing to set up, so it's not ready yet. But yeah, what are my thoughts on the Piastri lap deleted? To be honest with you, I didn't even realise his lap got deleted. When everyone was tweeting, finding out your lap has been deleted in an interview, I thought they were talking about Lando. I didn't realise they were talking about Piastri. So yeah, that really took me by surprise, and I've had to check the grid for today, because I was like, hang on a second, Lewis is starting third. I was like, when did he start third? He was like 6th when I signed off on Friday. So yeah, I'm assuming it's track limits, and to be honest, today, guys, I think we're gonna have to keep an eye out on the track limits. I do have a graphic where we'll be able to keep an eye out on that. But yeah, I think that's definitely going to come into play today. Could be kind of Red Bull Ring-esque, the issue that we had a few years ago. So that could definitely determine a few results today. Obviously, Leclerc got a lap deleted got a penalty, didn't he? A 5-second time penalty in the sprint race yesterday. So yeah, Sainz has already been ruled out of the race. Yes, he has, unfortunately. Sergio is starting from the pit lane because they've had to change a lot of the car. So much so that he's starting from the pit lane. By the way, I think you should rerun the poll and ask instead when Perez... well, he started from the pit lane, so it might be a bit different. Morning, Timo. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. But no, thank you everyone who is joining us for the Qatar GP. It's going to be an interesting one. So let's get into it. Let's have a look. While we can't obviously load the graphics up just yet, let's have a look exactly what we are in store for this race and why it is so interesting. Even though obviously all the titles have been wrapped up now. But let's have a look. Hey, Veronica. Good to see you. Good to see you. Right, so let's move you guys over there. This is the interesting part. This is why this race is going to be so interesting. So, due to the frequency of the safety car interventions in yesterday's sprint, the tyre data available for analysis by Pirelli was insufficient to add to that already undertaken following previous track sessions. In some cases, tyres that were analysed from the sprint did not show the initial onset of the separation in the sidewall between the topping of the compound and the carcass cords of the tyres. So this was in relation to the pyramid curbs, as you can see on the next line below. As was the case in free practice 1, where they only had 1 hour, this issue has likely been caused by the high frequency interference between the tyre sidewall and the 50mm pyramid curbs, used extensively at this circuit, aggravated by the propensity to ride those curbs. So yeah, of course, the amount of the frequency that is pushed through the tyres as they go over these type of curbs is causing issues and separation in the almost like the structure of the tyre, and it's not a compound issue, it's just a genuine issue with the tyres. It just doesn't match up with obviously what's being put through them when they go over these curbs. So today we have, due to that, a mandatory limit of 18 laps total tyre life per set will be imposed. That doesn't matter what compound of tyre you got, that is every single tyre, soft, medium, hard, 18 laps total. If they are to exceed the tyre lap life, they will be reported to the stewards, and if this is the case, they will be disqualified if they go beyond this. Hey, good to see ya. So FIA and Pirelli have communicated to the teams the remaining available amount of laps for each set of tyres, of used set of tyres, that they've got to be able to use like on those laps. So if they've got a 5 lap old set of tyres, they'll only be able to take them X amount. There is no direct mandate for at least 3 tyre change pit stops. So the mandatory free tyre pit stop it's not a mandatory thing. It's just a fact of it, because of the 18 laps, this will take them into a free stop race due to the race distance. So we are getting a minimum 3 stop race today, guys, because of that tyre lap life maximum limit of 18 laps. And it most likely could even be a 4 lap race, 4 stopper, because teams might just take the opportunity to go for a fresher set of tyres towards the end. So gonna be a little bit difficult to keep an eye on today. So this is the starting grid. So we have Max Verstappen on pole, George Russell second, Lewis now up into third, Alonso fourth, Leclerc fifth, Piastri sixth after that, obviously demotion and penalty, Gasly seventh, Ocon eighth, Bottas ninth, Norris 10th. We know he's got the pace, so expect to see him move up the grid. It depends how quickly he can move forward in that pacey McLaren. Tsunoda 11th, Sainz now a non-starter, so people will start. That doesn't mean everyone moves up a position. They will still start in their grid slots, except that, of course, Nico Hülkenberg will have a nice bit of clean air in front of him, with Carlos Sainz not lining up on the grid with that engine issue. So Albon 13th, Hülkenberg 14th, Sargent 15th, Stroll 16th, Lawson 17th, Magnussen 18th, Guan Yu Zhou in 19th. And yes, Sergio Perez is starting from the pit lane. So that is the grid. This is the tyre allocation that everyone has left. Now, what you can't really see here is that there's little numbers underneath each of these tyres, the used tyres, which indicates how many tyres on that set, on that set of tyres, how many laps they're able to use them for. So Hamilton here kind of, it's so difficult to tell, but look, he's got a brand new set of hards, a brand new set of mediums, and a brand new set of softs, compared to George Russell, who only has a brand new set of hards and a brand new set of mediums. So Lewis is probably at an advantage here over George, because he has a brand new set of softs to use compared to Russell. And of course, some of his softs only able to go a certain amount of laps. But let's have a look at this chart. This chart is where it's really important, because this details the type of different, so 101 and 102, these are the type of, they have basically 2 different sets of hards to use, 4 sets of mediums, and it looks like 6 sets of softs to use throughout a race. And there is here this here basically indicates how many laps they can do on those set of tyres. So I'm going to be referring back to this quite a bit today, I think. So Verstappen is actually probably quite well off, because he has 18 laps is the maximum amount of laps a tyre can do today, as per the mandate. So Verstappen has got a brand new set of hards, a brand new set of mediums, and a brand new set of softs. 18 laps. He can use the maximum set possible to him. Perez is the same as well. How about George Russell as an example? So George Russell is a bit of a disadvantage because he's used his softs quite a bit. And each of his medium set of tyres, look, 9 laps remaining, 13-13. Whereas Verstappen, as an example, has 3 sets of mediums and 2 of those sets can do 17 laps, according to Pirelli. Hamilton is also a bit of a disadvantage because he only has 3 medium tyres and, well, 10 and 13 laps of what the other set of tyres are for him. The medium's probably going to be the best tyre today. So the softs, that's what I mean, that splash and dash at the end, depends how quick they'll be on that soft tyre at the end. So yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one. It's going to be an intriguing one, guys, and that's what we've got today. Lovely. I can set up my stream thing now. So let's just change back. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting race. So yeah, I'll be referring back to that, guys. But yeah. Hey Spud, good to see you, mate. Nathan, what is the difference between a Toyota and Honda? No, nothing. There is nothing, apparently. I haven't tried it out myself, but it's just the fact of it. There's a different model, like the decal, basically the livery is different. That's pretty much all it is. So right, looks like I think we're going to need the tyre data today. I think we're definitely going to need the tyre data, aren't we? So, one thing I do want to keep an eye on today, guys, is the track limits, because I think we're going to need that today. I think we're going to need that track limits. Right. There we go. There we go. Right. So somehow, I think we might need to extend out this track, these tyres today, guys. I think we might need the space. I think it's going to be needed. And where has it gone? I think I need the track limits today. I think we are going to need this, because I think there's going to be quite a few. No, that's just ruining it, isn't it? I'll move that over to the side and I'll keep you guys updated with track limits. I'll do that for you. But yeah, there we go. In for an exciting race, guys. In for an exciting race. The race will start on the hour, so we have just under 20 minutes remaining until the race gets underway. But yeah, please vote in the poll. Who do you think is going to win? At the moment, 68% of you think Verstappen will. Piastri, 11%. Russell, 5%. Hamilton, 16%. I mean, look, Max is in pole position for a reason. He's obviously been very quick. He's also at an advantage today because of the tyre life that he's got remaining with this race. But the Qatar Grand Prix, we saw a few. Obviously, the sprint race, while I didn't stream it, guys, I did catch it. There's been a few incidents. There was a few incidents in that race yesterday. So we'll see. We'll see what obviously this race has in store for us. Arsenal City some match. Yeah, I did watch the first half. Hey, Kaz, good to see ya. Good to see ya. It kind of looks like a ghost scare. Hamilton got to start on soft, surely, to make a good start over George into still P2. Maybe. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what people start on. Very much so. Very, very much so. Because if we get that graphic back up, or if I get that graphic back up, if I can do it, where has it gone? Don't tell me I closed it down. No, I didn't close it down. So I'm just looking at the soft tyres. So it looks like Hamilton has... Well, that graphic's different. The Pirelli graphic we've got there is different to the one... Oh, no, it is true. Yeah, he's got a used set of tyres. So that's interesting. So even though Hamilton has only one brand new set of soft tyres available to him, the second set of... He has two he has a used set of soft tyres that Pirelli have deemed and tested to run at the maximum 18 laps. So that's intriguing. But yeah, the soft tyre isn't really a good race tyre. That's the thing. Unless they want to kind of get out and build a bit of a gap early on in the race and gain track position, I think the soft tyre is only really going to be used at the very end of the race as like a splash and dash maybe. Because we saw it drop off so quickly yesterday in the sprint race. I don't see it being used. I mean, and you think as well, they're carrying a lot more fuel at the start of the race. So being on the soft tyre, that tyre might only last 5 laps before they have to pit. So I'd be surprised to see anyone start on the soft tyre. Maybe someone will risk it. I think it will make things interesting. But I think we're going to see quite a wide variety of people starting on different tyres here at the start. Oh, thanks, Kaz. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the Super Formula car at the moment. It's my favourite car in the series. I'm still racing F1. I will still race F1, the F1 car. The weekly officials aren't that great at the moment. They're not very well participated. But I'm still going to race like the 100% races. I haven't raced this week because it's at a track that I don't like, Magny Cours, and I wanted to race at Spa. So, especially with the league race, which could have been better. Could have been a lot better, in all honesty. But hey-ho, we move on to next week. We still kind of clawed a result. Did I see Stroll's outburst in the interview? Yes, we did. Yes. I was streaming at the time. Yeah, he's not a happy boy, is he, Stroll? He's not a happy boy whatsoever. He clearly seems to be someone who's just kind of... Yeah, almost looks like he doesn't want to be there, does he? It almost looks like he doesn't want to be there, guys. All right. Always excited to see my Super Formula comment. Yeah, I'm hoping to do a race. I'm hoping to do a race this evening, but I can get posted up because it's not been a good week for me at Spa. I'm hoping this thing will last as well. So I'm interested to see if my wheel doesn't have any more issues. But yeah, gonna be an interesting one, guys. Gonna be an interesting race if you're just joining us. Good to see you guys again. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. We'll be back here for all the watch-alongs that we can. The sprint races, I generally I struggle to make. I do struggle to make the sprint races, guys, because I know it was kind of typical, wasn't it, really? Because yesterday's sprint race would have been a good one to stream. But, yeah, I do kind of struggle to make those. I struggle to kind of see the excitement of them. I'm not really a big fan. And sometimes it could be a lot to ask for to put time aside and do all that. Why is that a different thing there? There we go. Right. What is the Man City score at the moment, by the way, as well? Let's have a check on that. But yes, Max Verstappen, as we knew was going to be, it was very much going to be his championship, wasn't it? We knew that after the first couple of races, to be honest with you. Be interesting to see how... So really, what we are keeping an eye out for, what we're using an eye out for now is how am I using multiviewer in the UK? Because it can be used in the UK, multiviewer. Yeah, basically what we need, what is interesting now is to the end of the year. Of course, the championships are already wrapped up. Is how much closer can the teams get, i.e. McLaren and Mercedes, how much closer can they get to Red Bull by the end of the year? We've seen McLaren kind of take it to Max this weekend. Of course, Max had a lap time deleted for track limits, which is why he would have been on pole in the sprint race if it wasn't for that. But still, Piastri and Norris have kind of taken it to Max this weekend. Norris's lap time was deleted from 2 lap times deleted, which I think were 24 zeros in the qualifying session for today, and that would have put him 2.5 tenths, I think it was, behind Max. So that gap is coming closer. Of course, the Red Bull is still massively supreme over a race distance because of their tyre management. I think people really underestimate that the reason they're able to go faster for longer because they just don't eat their tyres like the other teams do. So yeah, that's massively helping them as well, because not only are they the quickest, they can go quicker for longer compared to the other teams. So yeah, that is really what we're keeping an eye out on for the remainder of the year. It's how hopefully that gap closes and it leaves us in a good position going into the winter break to start the new season next year. No, you don't need F1 TV Pro. No, you just need F1 TV. I don't get access to all like the different camera angles and stuff because that is the Pro version. The Pro version is only available in certain countries. In the UK, it's blocked because Sky owns the TV rights, so we don't get access to that. So yeah, it's in the UK though we get access to all the data. We just don't get access to all the TV coverage because that's like by Sky, run by Sky basically. So. Do Merc have a chance today if both drivers work together? They don't have a chance to beat Max, in my opinion. They definitely have a chance at a double podium, for sure. Especially with Piastri being in 6th and Norris being in 10th. Don't think Alonso or Leclerc really has the race pace on them. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what tyres they start on, though. Russell likes to run the alternative strategy compared to Hamilton. So let's see if Russell is going to run a different tyre strategy to Hamilton. Maybe he tries to do something there, but I think today Mercedes need to be very strong and they need to quickly identify, look, if Hamilton's quicker than Russell, let him go. Let Hamilton go. Don't let him fight. Like, get a double podium for God's sake, because the McLarens could be on your ass very quickly. I hope that is the case today, because in the last few races, while obviously it's good to see fighting, they've compromised Hamilton a little bit in a couple of races, especially in Japan. They should have let Hamilton go a lot sooner rather than get caught by Sainz. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out today. Tried using a VPN to bypass. They've blocked VPNs, F1. Yeah, you can't use a VPN to get F1 TV Pro. So I am using one right now, but you can't use it to bypass F1 TV Pro. Yeah. Do I think Hamilton can catch Perez? Oh yes, most definitely. He'll beat Perez. I mean, he's going to outscore Perez today, isn't he? Albeit if he doesn't crash out. Like, Perez is starting 20th. Perez will probably finish in the points, but I don't think he'll finish. Like, Hamilton will catch him for sure, definitely. Actually, see Hamilton Russell crash into T1 today. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Hey, Random, that's good to see you, mate. Welcome. Well, guys, we are only not long away now. How many minutes away? We are under 7 minutes away until this race begins. It's going to be an intrigue. I'm excited for this one, but I'm also a little bit nervous in regards to. I'm going to try my best to translate all the information to you guys, because, as you know, there's going to be a lot of pit stops today. What you guys need to remember is 18 laps is the most amount of length that they can run on the tyres. 18 laps. So we're going to see a minimum of 3 pit stops, and could even be 4. So yeah, we'll try and do a quick calculation when they take off the tyre blankets. We'll be able to see if anyone is starting on used tyres, and we can roughly calculate the maximum, the lap they'll be pitting, because Pirelli have released a graph. So what I would do, guys, is if you're part of my Discord, and little plug for my Discord, if you want to hit the link in the description below, there is a graph, basically, that Pirelli, this is how mad this is for today, but Pirelli and the FIA have released, and this is what I am going to be using on my second monitor to keep an eye out on how many laps they're able to run on the used tyres. So, particularly when it comes to the mediums and the softs, Pirelli have done a test and analysis and given this to the teams to say, right, well, they can only run, they've labelled, each tyre has a label to it, and they're only able to run a maximum of these amount of laps on these tyres. So I'm going to post this I'm going to screenshot of this in my Discord, in the Real Life Racing channel, and you will, you might want to have that up alongside or something, just to refer to, because it is going to be a bit of a crazy race, I think. So let's just let's see if I can drag and drop that in there. Where are we? There we are. I've dropped that in there. So if you want to join the Discord, feel free. Link is in the description below. Ferrari prick. Yeah, I was going to say. So today is really where the strategists are going to earn their money. They're really going to earn their money because it's one of those, I suppose, like it might all be pretty straightforward once the drivers know what tyre they're starting on. They're probably going to they might just see that as running, like their strategy is set towards the end because it's like simple maths of the next tyre can only run 18 laps maximum, things like that. Or it might be, I mean, if they want to try and do an undercut, they're really going to have to try and alter their strategy and make things work. So yes, it's going to be an interesting one. Definitely, I think we'll see some four stoppers. Especially the guys in the midfield trying to do the undercuts. So, with signs out, opportunity for Matt to get a good gap on Ferrari in Constructors' Championship. Yes, and for Lewis to close the gap on Perez as well in P2. What tyres do people have left? Since some drivers using mediums yesterday might be screwed today. So we have this graphic as well, which indicates what tyres they have left. So if we scroll, just move down here. So really, obviously, like you've got the top 10 on your left. Max, Perez. So Max has only a brand new set of hards and mediums available, but he does have a set of used soft tyres that are able to run 18 laps. Perez has a brand new set of softs, so does Sainz. Well, Sainz is out now. Hamilton has a brand new set of softs, and the rest of them only have a set of mediums. And then obviously the guys, Alonso over here, he has a brand new set of mediums and a brand new set of hards. The medium is definitely the race tyre today. We know how quickly the soft just went off in the sprint. So it's probably going to be a medium and hard compound race, maybe with a soft tyre at the end, with depending if they want to do like a splash and dash at the end, if they try and do an undercut. Do I have Sky in my ears today? I do have Sky in my ears today. Yeah, I found my headphones. So yes, I'll be able to keep an eye out on the commentary and hear any reports there and keep that for you guys. But yeah, oh, here we go. Tyre blankets are off and Hamilton's starting on the softs. Oh, who predicted Hamilton on the softs? Who predicted it? Someone in chat predicted Hamilton on the softs. We have a few soft runners. Okay. So, guys, Verstappen starting on a set of medium compound tyres. Russell is only... So, if I'm looking at this correctly, Russell will only be able to run 13 laps on that tyre. He won't be able to run any more. So Russell will already be pitting 13 laps into the race at the minimum, at the maximum. Hamilton has got a brand new set of soft tyres, so he can run those softs for 18 laps. They're not going to last 18 laps. Jordan, well done, buddy. Great shout, because Hamilton is starting on the softs and he's going strong. He wants to get ahead. I think as well, maybe this is Hamilton trying to take out, we were saying about if Hamilton gets up behind Russell pretty quickly. Our team orders in play. I think this is Hamilton's basically going, I want to get in front of Russell early and just pull away, which he'll be able to do, but it means he'll definitely be pitting a lot earlier because those softs will probably last 8 laps, 10 laps if he's lucky, I think. 10 laps if he's lucky on those softs. So Hamilton's going to be pitting super early. He's going to be looking to get ahead of Russell and maybe even ahead of Verstappen. But Verstappen's using not his brand new set of medium tyres that he has available today, as they are off, guys. They are off on their obviously the sighting lap. Sorry. But here we go. So, interesting there. So, Bottas also starting on the softs. Lawson and Magnussen at the back. Interestingly enough, we have Stroll on an 8-lap medium tyres. We also have Hulkenberg on 7 laps. Norris on 7 laps. Piastri on 6 laps. So, a lot of the teams here choosing not to start on a brand new set of medium tyres at the start of this race. The only ones who are doing so are Zhou, who is on the medium, and Sargent there, as well as Albon and Sonoda. But the top 10, Lewis is the only one who's starting on a brand new set of tyres, and of course is the soft tyre as well. So he's going to be super quick at the start here, guys, looking to get a big launch off the start ahead of his teammate, and we'll see how long those soft tyres actually last for. Don't expect them to last very long. But those other guys, well, yeah, they're only going to be able to take those medium tyres. I'm looking at the chart up here. 13 laps? 13 laps on those medium tyres, because Pirelli obviously are saying 18 laps maximum on those, and the used tyres means that they're only allowed to take them a certain amount. So if we look at Piastri, I think he's only able to take those 14 laps because he's 6-lap old hard tyres. Norris, where he's got 7, Norris will be 13 laps. So yeah. Ooh, this is going to be intriguing, guys. It's going to be an intriguing race. I'll try and keep you updated as best as I can, as always, as always. But if you can hit that like button, the viewers are creeping up as we are about to start the Qatar Grand Prix. And if you're just joining us, we have a mandatory free pit stop today because of the issues with the tyres that Pirelli have mandated. So we're in for a very intriguing race there. We also have a non-starter in Carlos Sainz, who has a engine leak issue, fuel leak issue, I think it was. So he's not being able to start this race. Perez, due to that crash yesterday, has had to have such a large amount of repairs that he has been deemed to start from the pit lane. 18 laps is the maximum for each set of tyres, regardless of compound, is what they're able to run. So yes, keep an eye out on the tyre counter there, guys. Minimum 3 stopper, most likely going to see a 4 stopper. Expect a very bold and aggressive Hamilton at the start, starting on the soft compounds here. And Hamilton is already saying, I'm a sitting duck to all these guys. Well, you're going to have to try and make it work. You're going to have to try and make it work and pull out a lead and go as fast as you can. All right, so here we are, guys. Only moments away from the Qatar Grand Prix as Perez makes his way down to the end of the pit lane. Here we go, guys. And we are moments away from the Qatar Grand Prix. Lights are on and held there for a little bit longer. And away we go as they head down into the first corner, where we saw a bit of action yesterday in the sprint race. And it looks like Leclerc is bogged down a little bit as, oh no, the track map has delayed itself a little bit as we have Hamilton into P. And there's a yellow flag already. What has happened there as Russell and Hamilton have come together into the first corner? Someone called it. Hamilton is stopped at the first corner. Has he made contact with his teammate, or was it with Verstappen? But I'm assuming Russell, because Russell is down at the back of the pack. Oh my God. Oh my God. What a start to this race. As Verstappen, it looks like Hamilton is stranded and definitely out of this race. As Verstappen is P1 and Piastri is up 4 positions into P2, nullifying that penalty that he got while on the podium in that interview on Friday evening. And, well, Alonso is up a position, Leclerc, Ocon is up 5, Norris is up 4 as well. There doesn't seem to be a safety car. I'm waiting for the TV coverage to catch up so I can see the actual start of this race and see what occurred. And there is a safety car. There is a safety car due to the contact from the Mercedes team into the first corner. And as we are catching up on that, I am going to look at the start of this race on the TV coverage. Let's have a look here. And here we go. So Hamilton got a great start as expected on the soft compound tyre. George, hang on. Bit of bumping wheels there. And Hamilton, oh no. Yeah, Hamilton's lost the tyre. Hamilton went round the outside of George Russell, and I genuinely think that's just a bit of a misjudgment from Hamilton on the first look. I think he's just stayed a bit too tight to George, and George on the medium tyre has just caught a little bit of an understeer, as expected. I think that's more on Lewis, to be honest. I think Lewis should have given a little bit more room on the grippier tyre. He could have afforded to do it. But we'll see a replay of that. George Russell reporting he's got damage as he is coming into the pit lane as well. It was very much wheel-on-wheel contact. George Russell's front wheel on Lewis's rear right. But, oh no. That is an absolute nightmare for the Mercedes. Oh no. I genuinely think, I don't think that's George Russell's fault. Because George is tucked up behind Max. He did move over. So George was tucked up behind Max. He then moved over slightly as Hamilton is alongside. Lewis moved out of the way. And I think Lewis has just kept it too tight to George. I don't think there's much more else that George could have done there down into T1. I don't think there's too much he could have done. I think Lewis might look back at that and go, but that's my initial first reaction. I haven't seen a replay yet of any onboards. We're awaiting those. As soon as we do, I'll report to you exactly what my further opinions are. But that's what it looked like from the initial contact. But that is an absolute nightmare for Mercedes because they had 2 good race cars today. They had 2 good race cars and they could have ended up competing for a double podium. And now George is at the back of this race, so maybe more of them could have done better. I don't know. Lewis is standing there despondent, arms folded, looking at the right rear of his car, thinking what the hell has just happened there. It's not been another good year for Lewis, has it? And another year that he just wants ended. And what that's done for George Russell as well is that he's had to change to another set of tyres, and this is going to massively affect him. He's already sitting to... So they've taken a new front wing, but they've put on another set of medium tyres, but you can't run those long. Right, so here we are watching the start of this race again. So as expected, Lewis Hamilton got a great start off the line, a better launch than both Max and George. He came across, George moved over to get out of Max's slipstream, and just trying to watch, hang on. George just... It's Hamilton's mistake. It's Lewis's mistake. George hasn't got anywhere to go there. In fairness, George hasn't got anywhere to go. That's Lewis's misjudgment. Watching Lewis is on board now, so let's have a look. It's a great start by Lewis, as expected. Moves over, squeezes George a little bit, and of course George is ahead. He's a car length ahead, and Hamilton does him on the brakes and just... Oh, Lewis says, yeah, I got taken out by my own teammate. I have to disagree there. And there's an investigation for Nico Hülkenberg. Just watching it back. Yeah, that's Lewis's mistake. That's Lewis's mistake there. Have a look at it after you see the race, guys. But Wow, what a start to this race. What a start to this race. George helping Lewis get P2 in the championship. Yeah. Yeah, I think Lewis... Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, George is ahead. George isn't even thinking of Lewis because he's looking at the overtake of Max round the outside. It's as tight to Max as possible. And he's actually a car length ahead of Lewis. But Lewis, of course, on the grippier tyre, the quicker tyre, is able to brake later, but just doesn't leave his teammate enough room and just misjudges it. So, yeah, I don't think... That's not George's fault whatsoever. But, yeah, here we go, guys. Safety car, it's the one thing that will help George do is be on those tyres. But, of course, this is going to bring us closer to the first pit stop for these guys because they're only able to do a maximum of 18 laps, remember. Disagree, Brian. I disagree. George was tucked up behind Max, moved over to get out of Max's slipstream, and Lewis and was ahead of Lewis. Look, I'm a Lewis fan. You can see from the helmet and the image, but Lewis there has made a mistake. It's just a misjudgment. There's no intention there. As Bottas is coming into the pits, Lawson, Stroll coming into the pits. Of course, this tyre change, this tyre limit, bringing guys in early in this race because, of course, just sitting behind the safety car here is just eating into that mandatory 18-lap tyres that they're able to use. George apologising over the radio. So sorry, guys. I think he feels like it was his fault. I think he's apologising more to the team than anything. But, I don't think there's much more George can do there. Having a bingo situation. Yeah, it's going to be feisty. You give those two guys a championship-winning car next year or a car that can compete with the likes of Red Bull. They're definitely going to take points off each other. Definitely going to take points off each other. Hamilton can't be real with blaming George there. Well, look, you're instantly going to look at it and just go, my teammate hit me. But when you get out of the car and you look at it back, Lewis will sit there and he'll be very honest with himself. He's one of the most honest drivers on the grid. He'll look back and go, yeah, I could have given more room. But saying that, it's been a bit fraught, the relationship between George and Lewis recently. So maybe he won't be. We'll see. But yeah. Of course, George doesn't have to move out. Yeah, but he's not looking at Lewis because he's ahead of Lewis. He's thinking of one sole thing, to overtake Max down into T1. He even says it. I wasn't looking in my rearview mirror. I'm looking at overtaking Max because he got a much better start. Lewis is already alongside. But then, of course, because of the slipstream, George pulls ahead slightly. Lewis is able to brake later. Lewis should just given more room, but he didn't, and that was Lewis's mistake when he looked back on it. So he's never going to pass Max. He's on a hard tyre. So what was George going to gain? He could have passed Max. He could have done. Yeah, he very well could have done. He was going to go for it. They're racing drivers. Right, here we go, guys. The race is back underway as Max Verstappen is backing them up. And the safety car is in, and away he goes. Similar to how Piastri managed the safety car, George Russell managed the safety car restart yesterday in the sprint race. The same part, as he's already pulled out a 1 second gap on Piastri. Alonso and Leclerc, big winners there, up into P3 and P4. Of course, Norris up into P6 as well. He'll be looking to get past Ocon very, very quickly. Here we go, down into the first corner. Of course, no DRS activated yet. George Russell, obviously, with that pit stop, is down in 14th position. But, of course, can only run those tyres for 8 more laps. So he'll be back into the pits very soon. Here it goes. So no overtakes there, no changes down into the first corner. We've had pit stops from Bottas, Magnussen, Stroll and Lawson there. So they'll be able to run those tyres, brand new tyres, to that maximum 18 laps. Piastri will be pitting very soon. So will Leclerc, Ocon, Norris, Gasly and Hülkenberg. So yes, still some games to be played here in regards to strategy. But Verstappen 1.2 seconds ahead now with a purple first sector. And Alonso staying quite close to Piastri at the moment. Everyone within DRS except for Piastri. So could leave him a bit of a sitting duck. We know that the DRS was quite powerful yesterday down the main straight. So we'll see how that affects them. One more lap until that is activated. A little gap forming between Leclerc and Alonso there. And yes, Tsunoda is being chased hard by Hülkenberg there, who surprisingly is on older medium tyres compared to Tsunoda on 4-lap old mediums as well. So maybe a bit of pace in that in that. But Hulkenberg is being investigated for starting in the wrong grid position. Of course, Carlos Sainz not starting today due to his oil leak in the car, or fuel leak. He was a grid position ahead, so Hulkenberg just mismanaging that and starting as Hulkenberg is gaining on Tsunoda here as they head down into the first corner. Is Hulkenberg going to make a move? He is side by side and does get that position from Tsunoda down into T1. But is Tsunoda going to fight back as they head into T2? No! Hulkenberg holds on to the position there. So already a little bit of a gaggle forming between Verstappen, Piastri and Alonso. Those front three pulling away slightly. Piastri with a very good last sector, purple last time around. But DRS will be activated the next time they go round the last corner down the start-finish straight. Fun to see Alonso back fighting at the top. Yes. Yeah, started off well and then Aston Martin have dropped back. They seem to be, well, in Alonso's hands anyway. Not in Stroll's, but they seem to be fighting pretty well this weekend. Is the undercut or overcut better here? I don't know, to be fair. I haven't really thought about it. 10-second time penalty for Hulkenberg starting in the incorrect location. Oof. Oh, that's not good. That's a harsh penalty. That's hard, isn't it? That is 10 seconds. 10 seconds, guys. Max and Jules were on the same tyres. He totally had a chance to overtake. I agree. But yeah. Let's have a look here. So Piastri with the fastest fastest lap there, a 29.3 compared to Verstappen on a 29.4. And interestingly as well there, guys, Piastri on older medium compound tyres compared to Verstappen. So maybe Piastri, could he be going for the race win here today? Does he actually have the race pace on Verstappen? We'll see how long that lasts. Of course, 18 laps. Who's reaching that gap first? We're seeing Ocon, Norris, Gasly and Hulkenberg fast. Leclerc is the first one. Only 4 more laps. There's 2 track violations at the moment between Zhou and Ocon. So that's definitely going to come into play today. I think it's turn... Which corner is it? Is it turn 10? I think turn 10's the corner where they're suffering with track limits at the moment. So... we'll keep an eye out on that. There could be some penalties. Who retired? Hamilton, Marlin. Where have you been? Where have you been? But George Russell got past Perez, who is on the hard compound tyre. So Piastri, fastest first sector there, but slightly slower than Verstappen in the middle sector. Gasly and Magnussen picking up an off-track there as well. Ram, good to see you. Nice to see you, mate. As Piastri and Verstappen quite clearly fastest of the rest at the moment. Norris getting stuck there in traffic, not able to make any headway on Ocon. Let's see how they're able to get on. So DRS will be activated this time around, I believe. Yes, it will, baby. Piastri is 1.6 seconds behind Verstappen there. Half a second slower than Verstappen. So Verstappen's starting to get a move on there on Piastri. Maybe my hopes of Piastri having quicker race pace than Verstappen was very short-lived, guys, wasn't it? 1 lap, maybe. 1 lap. But Leclerc staying with Alonso there. Ocon, where's Lando Norris? Norris not even in the DRS of Ocon there. Only a 10th quicker than Ocon last time around. And importantly for him, nearly a second slower than his teammate. That is the difference of being in dirty air compared to being out front and having a bit of cleaner air. But that McLaren seems to be very quick down the through the first sector. He's been purple pretty much every time, Piastri, over Verstappen. But Verstappen quite supreme in the middle sector, I think. But when are we going to see pit stops? So Leclerc has a couple of laps remaining. Are they going to pit him this time around? Only has 3 laps remaining after this until he has to come in and pit. If anyone exceeds the 18 lap limit, guys, they will be disqualified today. So the strategists are definitely going to earn their money. That is for sure. No worries, Martin. No worries. With Tom and Safe United. Yeah, he did, yeah. Will we see a fight between Alonso and Leclerc? It looks like it's shaping up that way, but I think it's going to be interrupted pretty quickly because Leclerc has to pit before Alonso. We think Norris has a decent shot at P3. I think so over the longevity of this race. The thing is that because of... I mean, it's interesting. I mean, how... Did the medium tyres easily go 19 laps? They do, really, didn't they? They did in the sprint race yesterday. But they've only got 1 brand new set of tyres to use, so... Am I control? Yes, George. Yes. Yeah. Well, they're on auto. They're on auto. Right, so Piastri falling back a little bit from Verstappen there. Definitely doesn't have the pace. Verstappen doing a 29.3 last time around, and Piastri doing a 29.8. Did a current lap counts on the tyres part of the 18 lap limit? Yes. Yes, so we'll see Leclerc coming into the pits very soon. Very soon. Yeah, only 38 likes. Oh, come on, guys, you can hit the like button. Over 200 of you in this stream. Much appreciated. Just looking at George Russell. George Russell making headway on those tyres. Expect George Russell to come in very soon as well. 14 laps on those mediums that he has done. We have a few track limits at the moment. We have Gasly, Alonso, Magnussen, Zhou, Ocon and Russell now having one strike against their name in regards to track limits. So it's 3 and it's a black and white flag, and then 4 track limit exceeded. I think it's 4, isn't it? If you exceed 4 times, that is when you then get a 5-second time penalty. But yes, the gap's forming quite nicely here. As you can see, Verstappen has the pace on Piastri in second place. Alonso third, Leclerc fourth. As Tsunoda comes into the pits on the medium tyre, only doing 9 laps on those mediums, so trying to do an undercut here. Really have to put your faith in the strategy teams today, guys, out there on grid. As Perez struggling to get past Zhou. He is on the hard compound tyre. Yeah, Perez not making as much headway as you would think, as Russell is all the way up there in 10th place at the moment. Thought Max would have pulled away more by now. Yeah. Well, it seems Piastri is doing well, kind of to stay in touch, really. The McLaren seems to have really found some pace here this weekend. So hopefully, yeah, Piastri can at least kind of make this interesting at the front. We'll see. 1-0 to Arsenal. Perez going nowhere whilst Russell makes move in an inferior car, technically speaking. I mean, Perez is on the hard compound tyre. The medium tyre is definitely the race tyre this weekend, that is for sure. The soft is, of course, the quickest, but it just degrades too quickly. And the hard tyre just isn't great, really. So I think they're just trying to get that out of the way with Perez. Maybe expecting some guys to pit early and he can get a bit of clean air, but that's not happening at the moment, as Russell is already on the back of Albon with DRS this time around. As Ocon dives into the pit lane, 16 laps completed on those medium compound tyres. Leclerc, interestingly enough, 18 laps on those medium tyres. I think he has to come in at the end of this lap, otherwise it would be a disqualification for him. So Alonso 15 laps as well. Ocon, yeah, technically it says 17, but technically it's only 16 full laps that he completed. It's because he crossed the start-finish line, obviously going into the pit box. So it's racing laps that they have to complete on those tyres. So Ocon out on another set of medium tyres. And let's have a look at the gaps here. So Russell on the back of that Hulkenberg and Albon train. Hulkenberg has a 10-second time penalty. Interestingly, though, Russell has just picked up another track limits violation. So he has 2 to his name now, guys. The only driver to have so. So if he picks up 2 more, he will receive a 5-second time penalty. But as you can imagine, the man is pushing after that first corner incident with his teammate, Lewis Hamilton, who is out of this race. Hey, Jam, good to see you, mate. Sargent's doing well. Sargent, yeah, up in 10th position, actually. Not doing too bad. Not doing too bad, considering yesterday wasn't a great day for him, was it? Obviously, beaching the car in, what was it, like lap 5, something like that? He only made a few laps, didn't he? But here we go. Alonso into the pits now. How about Leclerc? Leclerc's going on? I thought Leclerc would have to have pitted by now. Leclerc? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's this lap he has to pit. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm reading this. If I'm reading this chart correctly, if he's on used mediums, he should only be able to do 13 laps on those tyres, or 12, which depending on which ones they are. He's gone beyond that. I'm pretty sure he's gone beyond that 13 laps. He's on 19 laps. I mean, I'd expect to see him come in now. Liam Lawson has a black and white flag, so Liam Lawson has 3 strikes to his name for off tracks already in this race. We're only 12 laps into this race, so he could be receiving a 5-second time penalty. Going to see a few of those dished out today, as Russell has got past Albon and is up into P6 already. But let's see if Leclerc actually comes in and pits. I want to see if Leclerc does come in and pit here. Surely he's got to come in and pit, as Piastri comes into the pits. And so does Leclerc. I'm not sure if that's a right calculation, you know. I could be completely wrong, but I think he's done more than 13 or 14 laps on that set of... He's done more than 13 laps on that set of tyres. I think Leclerc could be... Right, clip this. I think Leclerc could be disqualified, and I think Ferrari have done a Ferrari strategy. I could be wrong, but I think Ferrari have just done a Ferrari, and I think Leclerc could be disqualified from this race if what we're reading is correct. We'll see at the end of the race, but I'm pretty sure they've gone 2 laps over the limit of those tyres, or at least 1 lap over the limit. I could be wrong there. You get 2 more laps if your tyres are used. No, I don't know. This is the thing. I'm looking at the chart of what I've got here. He was only able to do 13 laps on a set of used, on what it said. 13 more laps. So, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe they've run it to the absolute limit. I would assume the pit wall knows better, but this is Ferrari, so it's all in the air. Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think that they know what they're doing. I think we always like to think we know what they're doing. But yeah, it's Ferrari in the day. But yeah, they're probably on point. So, George Russell now up into P2. He's now into a net P2, but of course he does have to pit very soon, as he's on a set of used medium tyres and did so at the end of the first lap, of course, due to that incident. But Piastri there overtaking Lawson as they head down the start-finish straight. So Piastri has pitted, Norris pitted, Max Verstappen will be pitting in a couple of laps' time. As he is on a set of used tyres, so he'll be able to further increase his gap. But Russell, interestingly enough, setting a 28.7 last time around. Hang on. But yeah, Alonso is ahead of Leclerc there. It's just all chopping and changing, isn't it? Very quickly, as Albon is up into P3. Stop the count. Give him his podium. Yeah, Leclerc is gone. He was supposed to pit by lap 12 or 11. I was watching and I'm like, why aren't they pitting? I think they've gone over. I do think they've gone over. I generally do think they've gone over, because Pirelli have given a specific chart of how many laps they can do on a set of used. Each tyre is numbered. We don't know which tyre number they've got, and he could only do 13 laps on that tyre. I'm pretty sure his tyres were like 6 laps old. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he has. Maybe he's got to 20 laps and he started on 7-lap-old mediums. Maybe it's right on the limit. I don't know. But yeah. But right, here we go. Let's have a rundown, as Norris is in the pits now. So let's have an actual rundown of this race. So, it's going to earn my money today, guys. And I'm going to earn my money today. So, Verstappen is out in the lead, yet to pit. Albon in P2, yet to pit. Perez started from the pit lane, yet to pit in P3. Same as Zhou. Bottas is up there in 5th place. Yet everyone is kind of out of sync at the moment. Bottas and Stroll pitted very early. They're out of sync. Piastri in P7 at the moment. So technically he's still in net P2. We have Magnussen up 10 positions into P8, another early pitter. Alonso in P3. So really his race is with Piastri. He has overtaken Leclerc. Alonso obviously will be fighting Piastri for that second place today. We have Lawson in P10, who pitted early. Leclerc in 11th. Norris chasing down Leclerc. That's an interesting fight to keep an eye out on there, as he is very much closing the gap and is now in the DRS. Ocon and Gasly in 13th and 14th. Russell, now pitted, is in 15th. Sonoda 16th, Sargent 17th, Hulkenberg with his 10-second time penalty in 18th. And yes, Lawson, Albon and Russell and Bottas have 2 track limits violations to their names. One more and they'll get a black and white flag. Lawson is already on that black and white flag, so for one more, he will receive a 5-second time penalty. As Piastri takes that fastest lap away from Verstappen there pretty quickly, as Leclerc has DRS on Lawson, which is probably his saving grace at the moment. Is Norris also going to get Lawson down into T1? Is he going to try and nick an extra position there? I think he's going to. He's definitely going to make a move, and he does. Lawson loses 2 positions there, although he is on the hard compound tyre compared to Leclerc and Norris. And, well, Leclerc is... obviously, would have been hoping there to have a little bit of respite from Lando Norris, but Lando Norris getting past Lawson in quick succession. Oof, oof. See you soon, Marlon. See you soon. I wish I was a Max fan or someone who isn't trying. Russell did the same number of laps as Leclerc before pitting. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to keep an eye on, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he's either on the limit or he's gone beyond it. It's not 18 laps maximum, is it? It's however many laps more Pirelli have said they can do on those used tyres. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one today. So Bottas now has a black and white flag, guys, for track limits. He is currently up in P5 at the moment. But let's keep an eye out who's next to pit. So Verstappen should be pitting very soon. I think it's next lap. I think he started on his tyres were 3 laps old, so he'll be able to take these to 20. He should be able to take these to 20 laps, is what Pirelli have suggested. So he'll be able to do one more lap on this set of tyres. And Norris getting past Magnussen and is already on the back of Leclerc. Leclerc is making quick work of these midfield drivers, but cannot get rid of Lando Norris, who is all over the back of him. Let's see if Lando is able to get Leclerc next time around. But Piastri, who is past Alonso's teammate Stroll in P7. Alonso, the gap between them is 1.5 seconds? About 2.5 seconds at the moment to Alonso and Piastri. So Piastri running 129, low 129s. Alonso a 28.9 last time around. So Alonso's definitely chomping at the bit and has some pace behind him. He might be able to take this fight to Piastri. As Verstappen is now in the pits. Verstappen into the pit lane. So how much time has he gained from Piastri coming out in that dirty air really, and in the middle of the field? Keep an eye out on it. And he's got a massive lead already. He's got an absolutely massive lead. Look at it. By the time Piastri comes around the last corner, Verstappen's going to be down out of the pit lane into the first corner. Whereas when they initially pitted, I think it was only a few seconds, but there was a gap. As Albon is your Qatar GP leader. Albon is leading the Qatar GP. Stop the race. Stop the count. That's it. That's what matters. I saw somewhere that used tyres can go 20 laps. Yeah, probably. As Lando is all over the back of Leclerc here. All over the back. Mods doing their thing. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. And, let's see if... George Russell. Let's have a look at George Russell. George Russell down in 14th at the moment. Trying to make his way back through. He's already on the back of Lawson. There's a big gap of cars. There's a big gaggle of cars there for him to make his way through. As kind of has been the case this season, the Alpine's struggling to kind of get past the guys in the midfield, even though they kind of have a quicker car. Alonso has 2 track limits to his name now, so he only has 1 more available until he gets a black and white flag, or say 2 more available really until he gets a 5-second time penalty. So Albon, guys, is actually pulling away from Max Verstappen. He's in the pit lane. But Albon was actually pulling away from Max Verstappen that time around. How great to say that Albon has actually led a Grand Prix race this year. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Right, so Albon and Joe are now in the pits. So we're kind of back on sync with pit stops here, guys, apart from maybe Valtteri Bottas, who one more track limits violation will receive a 5-second time penalty, as Alonso is now past his teammates. So Piastri 8 seconds behind Verstappen there after that first pit stop. So Verstappen lost a lot. Piastri lost a lot of time by pitting when he did, and coming out in the traffic. But of course, Piastri started on a lot older tyres, so had to pit a lot sooner than that of Verstappen. So Bottas in third, Alonso chasing him down. I imagine will be past him very quickly. Norris is now past Leclerc. I've missed all that. So Norris is past Leclerc and will be quickly on the back of Stroll, I assume. Stroll actually told to let Alonso by. Oh, that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. Even though you know you haven't been quick this weekend, to be told that you've got to let your teammate by, it's always got to hurt. But yes, we have Ocon and Gasly and Russell quickly dispatching Lawson and Magnussen. So Russell is now chasing down Gasly. I think Russell, it's a shame really that they've had that contact at the start of this race, because the Mercedes both had cars today to really kind of secure a P2 and a P3. Probably not the pace to take it to Verstappen, but it would have been a good fight. As Alonso dispatches Bottas down into T1 with the DRS activated. Very strong here this weekend, where the majority of the overtakes are being made. And Alonso now up into P3. And can he chase down Piastri? Although Piastri now in clean air, doing mid-28s. So can Alonso, let's keep an eye on his lap times. I think that's going to be an intriguing fight today, because Alonso does seem to have a bit of pace here this weekend. Stroll really just got a skill issue with it from the Aston Martin. Pressure space has been better compared to Norris's so far this race. Yes, but Piastri has been kind of in more clean air in Lando's defence. Lando has been running like behind other cars, understandably, because he started in P10. So yeah, that's kind of, no one has to blame but himself, as he did on Friday with those 2 track limits. Otherwise, he would have been in P2. But yes, I think the McLaren is strong. Norris reported on the radio, just let me do my thing. Just tell me when to pit, because he says the car feels really good. So, but what was the gap between Max and Oscar when Max came out of the pits? It was 8 seconds. Yeah, Piastri is closing the gap slightly. So keep an eye out on the last lap. Max does a 28.45, and Piastri, probably quicker than that, does a 28.2. So he's 2 tenths faster, Piastri, at the moment than Max. So that's what I mean. Piastri did lose out a lot of time. He lost out about 5 seconds of pitted when he had to. As Hulkenberg also gets another track limits, and so does Leclerc. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 14 cars who have had 14 drivers who have had at least one track limits violation this race thus far, guys. And with Lawson and Bottas on a black and white flag, so next time around they'll receive a 5-second time penalty. Oh, hang on. Listening to Lewis Hamilton. What has he got to say? Lewis owning it as always. Lewis owning it as always. He said that in the heat of the moment you say things. I felt the tap from behind. He said, George, he goes looking at it back, George had nowhere to go. There you go. Lewis holds his hands up and admits that the more blame was on himself, and there's no blame on George. So very few drivers do that. Very few drivers will hold their hands up and accept that they've made a mistake and a misjudgment, and quite clearly Lewis did. Thought that was the case at the time, and yeah, Lewis has stood by that. So you have to respect him. You have to respect him. So, right, so we have some more pit stops as Bottas and Stroll come into the pit lane. And, well, yes, this gives Alonso is in clean air. So how did Alonso get on last time around? A 25.5. I'll tell you what, Piastri's lap times are very good. Piastri is lapping the same pace as Verstappen at the moment, guys. The difficulty here is that Piastri still doesn't really have a chance. I'm saying this now because Verstappen has brand new tyres to put on. Like, he has a brand new set of hards to put on next time around. He'll be able to do a standard free stop, and he just has fresher tyres to use to go that full 18 lap distance, whereas Piastri doesn't. Crazy, Norris has had less Q1 eliminations in his career than Perez has had in seasons in the fastest car. Wow, that is a crazy fact. Oh, who was that? Was that Gasly? Oh, Gasly pushes off. George Russell as they went through the first corner there. And yes, didn't leave a lot of room, as we have a black and white flag for Albon, guys. Albon is now free strikes, guys. 3 strikes, as Piastri has also picked up a second track limits violation. I'm just going to bring this onto your screen so that you can see the amount of track limits that we currently have. There we go. So we currently have 14 drivers with track limits violations, and Albon, Lawson and Bottas, with one more to their name, will receive a 5-second time penalty. So yes, I'm keeping an eye out for you guys there, as Perez sets the fastest lap of this race. Will we see a disqualification this race? No, I don't think so. I don't think we'll see a disqualification this race. What, in regards to the tyres? I don't think so. I think if someone does get disqualified, someone will probably lose their job. Whichever pit wall that is. So, the 13% on the pole. I know. I'm going to end that poll, actually, because quite evidently Lewis is not going to win this race. And I really thought that, yeah, obviously seeing those two on there, they had good opportunity for pace today. But, yeah, they've ruined it, haven't they, for themselves, really. What does FA hope to achieve with this new pit-stop circus? It's more than confusing. They don't hope to achieve anything. It's an unforeseen circumstance that has happened. So they had basically the tire wall construction is just being torn apart by the curbs, the frequency of the curbs, so like the vibrations at this circuit, because there's been a number of like on-track changes at Qatar, and yeah, quite evidently Pirelli have notified everyone that, look, this is an issue. We've got a structural issue here, and we need to limit the amount of laps that the tyres can go on. And to be fair to the FIA, they've been very quick in making a decision and implementing that. I don't think it's something that they're going to mandate moving forward, like a mandatory free stopper. This is purely for safety reasons, and will be looked into moving forward. That's for sure. So the incidental rule for this race, yes, yeah. New tyre murder curves that replace the sausage curbs are worse. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good on Pirelli, to be honest with you, that they've got tyres that aren't like capable of dealing with that. On the same weekend, it's just been announced that they are going to be retaining their deal as the sole tyre manufacturer with F1, because yeah, it's not a good look for them this weekend. Couldn't really make it up, as Perez now has a black and white flag for track limits. So one more, and Perez will have to serve a 5-second five-second time penalty in his next pit stop. So yes, not good for Perez. Obviously pushing. These guys are pushing, and they're just getting off tracks. It's quite windy out there as well, and those fast corners are just getting a little bit of understeer, and they are, violating those track limits. What do we think of Perez points? I mean, we have Albon right there. Maybe he'll get the elbows out. I don't know. So let's keep an eye out on the lap time. So the gap to Verstappen and Piastri has just gone out to just over 8 seconds now. Piastri, he's staying he's setting similar lap times to Verstappen, but he's on average about a tenth slower per lap, and that's kind of evident to see with that gap increasing over the last few laps. Alonso not quick enough to stay with Piastri, so that gap has just opened up between him, and he's now under threat from Norris, who is on the pace of Piastri and Verstappen. Norris doing a 27.8 last time around compared to Alonso's 28.5, so Norris chasing down Alonso as we are heading into this next pit stop window, guys. As you can see there from the lap indicator next to those tyres, 19 laps for Piastri on this set of tyres, 18 by Alonso, 17 by Norris, 19 by Leclerc, Ocon 19, Gasly 18. So these guys are going to be coming in and making those pit stops very soon for the second time around. So yes, and as I say that, Piastri into the pits, so he has hit that limit. As Alonso and Norris go round for another lap, I assume. So Norris definitely cutting it fine there, taking it to 20. Piastri, sorry, taking it to 20 laps. Where is Piastri gonna come out? As Leclerc comes in and Ocon as well, as Russell heads up into P5. Slightly out of sync here with his pit stops. He'll probably make a splash and dash at the end. And Piastri is going to come out into clean air, I think, or is he going to come out behind Albon? Oh, here we go as they head down into the first corner. And a little bit of a delay there in the track map, it seems. And Piastri comes out behind Albon. So Piastri, not ideal. He's going to lose a bit of time on his outlap here. And he's going to be stuck behind. And Perez is the first driver to receive a penalty for track limits. Perez has gone over the track limits 4 times, guys. So Perez will receive a 5-second time penalty, most likely taken at his next pit stop for track limits violations. It would only be him, wouldn't it? It would only be Perez. Oscar is getting so screwed by traffic. Yeah, it's not helpful, but he's stuck behind Albon there. Russell seems to be flying, though, in clean air. When Russell gets into clean air, look at that. Russell, fastest first and second sector. He's going to set fastest lap of the race here. Wow, Russell absolutely flying this time around. So, do Lando Norris and Alonso come in and pit? I assume they will, but maybe Lando could do one more lap. I think Lando could do one more lap. He can indeed. So, Lando in clean air. Can he do the overcut on Alonso? I think he can, as Russell does a 27.1. Got to be a glory lap there for Russell. Probably turned the battery up and did a 27.1. For him to be 6 tenths faster than Verstappen that time around, yeah, he's definitely switched the battery up and gone to attack mode for that lap. But Piastri there, look, not able to close the gap up on Albon, suffering here on this outlap, and you'd think that maybe he'd be able to stay with him and get that overtake done, but he's not thus far. But keep an eye on Lando Norris. So Alonso has come out importantly ahead of Hulkenberg. He is maybe going to suffer a little bit with the dirty air from Guan Yu Zhou, but oh, Fernando Alonso. And Fernando Alonso, intriguingly, is saying that the seat is burning. Can you throw some water over me at the pit stop or something? Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I think this is probably a done deal then. I think Norris is going to get this overcut done. So he's going to be coming into the pits this time around as he reaches that 18-lap tyre limit on the on the used tyre. As Russell once again going fastest in the middle sector. Wow. Russell on fire at the moment as Norris comes into the pit lane as Alonso is coming round turn 13, going through the last sector. This is a decent enough pit stop. Oh, I don't know if they put anything on Alonso's car there. No water was thrown. Yeah, I don't know what they did. Russell maximising the clean air. I think so. But even so, Verstappen's been in clean air and he's not sitting as fast as lap times. And Norris comfortably gets the overcut done on Alonso, but gets stuck behind Zhou as they head into T1. So done deal for Norris there on Alonso, as quite evidently we could see that in clean air he was a quicker car and was catching Alonso very quickly. But Piastri now all over the back of Albon. Seems to be that those medium compound tyres are now up to temperature and he can attack Albon. Maybe just struggling with that tyre warm-up on the first couple of outlaps there. But Perez, yep, 5-second time penalty confirmed for him. No other track limits violations thus far, so everyone playing ball at the moment. But Verstappen out there at the moment. Let's see what that time he does at 27.7. He's doing quite comfortable at the moment. But Piastri is most definitely going to be doing, he's doing 3 laps on the medium tyre. As we said, the medium tyre was going to be the race tyre of choice this weekend. But yeah, let's see let's see what these Maccas can do, eh? Let's see what they can do. Houghton just admitted Russell had nowhere to go. Yes, yep, Shingo. We reported that. I was listening to it on Sky. As I said upon the analysis, my expert analysis, which is what you all come here for, guys. You all come here for my expert analysis and opinions that you value so much. As Piastri gets past Albon into T1. Yes, Piastri. Go on the boy. Go on the boy. Lewis just misjudged it. He just misjudged it and took his teammate out. George didn't have anywhere to go and was entitled to be in the position he was as well, trying to make a move on Max. Lewis will look back on that and definitely feel like, I should have just left so much more room. But he squeezed just a little bit too tight. Right, so can Norris get these tyres up to temperature? Of course, Fernando on the hard compound tyre, interestingly. So I don't think he's going to trouble the McLaren of Norris on that compound of tyre. Of course, guys, they're not going to be able to take this hard tyre to the end of the race. We still have 28 laps remaining, and the maximum laps they can run on these tyres is 18. Albano is climbing the grid like a P4 now. Yeah, well, we still need to pit again, of course. Still needs to pit again. And Albon has one more track limit violation and he will receive a 5-second time penalty. So he does have to be careful. My ego's going through the roof. It's a bit of sarcasm. It's a bit of sarcasm. How is Sargent doing listening with my screen off at work? Sargent at this moment in time is... You won't like it. He's last of the runners at the moment. He's not doing great. But he hasn't crashed a car. Saf, he hasn't crashed a car. So positives. So I mean, it's a bit difficult to say. He has just made a pit stop. Wow, so George Russell being reported by Mercedes. They're looking at a possible P4. Wow, that is how much pace the Mercedes had today. Did they have enough to take it to Verstappen? I don't know. I mean, George is definitely running quick lap times at 27.2. So I think Max is managing the race at the end of the day. Max doesn't have to push. I think he's quite comfortable. But like Russell, 27.2. He's definitely running quicker than Max recently. Piastri at 27.0 this time around. Going back to Logan Sargent, he is out of sync. He has just made a pit stop and he's on 3-lap old hard tyres. So once everyone pits again, he'll be in a more relative position. I think he was running around... I think he might be on for points today. No, I take that back. Seems like a lot of the people ahead of him didn't make pit stops too long after him. So I think it's going to be a better performance from him, but it's not going to be enough to get points. Take that back. Where does Albon end up in the end, considering he's off sync? Albon at the moment is P5, still has to make another pit stop. I think he's probably in for a P... Oh, I don't know. It's difficult to say. I mean, Albon's probably one of the only drivers who can do an easy free stop. And an easy free stop. That's what Max and Albon are going to be doing. So I think he could be on for points today, Albon. I think he could be on for points. I don't know how high up he'll be on for points, though. As Norris is flying. A 26.2 last time around from Lando Norris. Wow, fastest lap of the race. Where has that come from? That was 8 tenths faster than Verstappen last time around. Unbelievable lap by him. But George Russell, of course, trying to push as hard as he can. He's got about 4 more laps until he has to pit on this set of tyres. So Max being told, just manage the pace. Just manage the pace. As Perez comes into the pits, he has a 5-second time penalty, so he is going to lose positions here. He is going to lose positions. As Gasly now has also a track limits violation, one more from him, and he will also receive a 5-second time penalty. So we have Gasly, Albon, Lawson, and Bottas, who are all on black and white flags. Perez, of course, already receiving that black and white flag and taking a 5-second time penalty. But yes, we have 4 drivers who, one more, and they'll receive a penalty. So Albon, here we go, has pitted. Only doing 13 laps on those mediums. So, okay, maybe they are going to go for a 4-stop. Can I go for a 4-stopper? Yeah, no, it's 2 pit stops, a 3 pit stop. I'm losing track of this, guys. I'm losing track. So it'll be a 3 pit stop from Albon because he'll do 1 more after this, won't he? So he's done. That's his second. He'll do 1 more after this. Yeah. So yeah, Albon out into P14, but on the hard compound tyre. So he'll be running those definitely 18 laps, and then probably doing a dash on the ends, maybe on the softs. But into the 26s we are now, guys, as Verstappen, after being given kind of that hurry up a little bit to manage the pace, but increase it slightly, is down, has just done a 26.6. Russell into the pits now. Where is Russell going to come out? Is he going to come out? He's definitely going to come out behind Alonso. Is he going to get out in front of Leclerc? We will see. We will see. I feel Russell may release around Alonso after the pits. We're about to find out. Let's see. He's definitely going to be close. I think Alonso's going to get ahead of Russell down into T1, but I think Zhou, as everyone has done who's pitted, it feels like, has come out behind Zhou into T1. But yes, importantly for Russell, ahead of Leclerc and not too far behind Alonso, because Zhou only has a few more laps until he has to pit. But I'd expect Russell, who's now on the hard compound tyre. Oh, as Alonso has an issue and brings out a slight yellow flag. I think he's run off track there, and that's going to allow Leclerc to really get up behind Alonso and maybe have an overtake down into T4, and he does. He does. I think Alonso may have an issue, or he's at least got scrubbed tyres. Did he have a spin? Briefly brought out the yellow flag, but I think Alonso there has, yes, definitely had some sort of driver error and lost control of the car, and it's allowed Russell and Leclerc to get past him there into T4, just waiting for it to catch up. And yes, Norris really flying at the moment at 25.9, only 4.8 seconds behind his teammate. Will he be able to catch Piastri? We will see. Trying to make up for a disappointing weekend thus far. Who would have thought his teammate Piastri would have got the win before Norris, eh? Before Norris. But yeah, just trying to watch it now. Russell's TV coverage is so far behind. But Verstappen supreme at the moment, so far ahead. Obviously, still yet to. He's going to make a pit. He's going to actually say that he's going to make a pit stop soon. We'll see what the gap is with Piastri and Verstappen next time around. As Piastri is cutting into Verstappen's lead, of course he is on fresher tyres, and that will be roles reversed when he comes out onto fresher tyres. But just watching Alonso really went onto the gravel. And yes, like that's as we said, so driver error from him. Just trying to, come on, show a replay of it, Jesus. Unforced error, yeah. Did he have a snap? Did he have a snap of oversteer? Did he lock up? I'm just trying to, turn incident involving car Alonso, rejoining unsafely. Really? Did he really? As Verstappen comes into the pit lane. So let's see how close Piastri can make up to Verstappen here. I think it was 8 seconds when Piastri pitted last time around. So here goes Alonso. Oh yeah, snap oversteer. So I think he hit the curb on entry on the right-hand side, and the rear just lost a bit of grip. So that gap between Verstappen and Piastri as Verstappen heads into turn 1 is, it's definitely not 29 seconds. It's 8.1 seconds. So it's maintained. So they've been, oh no, 7.3 seconds, sorry. 7.3 seconds. So Piastri has definitely taken out a little bit of time of Verstappen, but expect that probably to build up a little bit more, guys, as Verstappen is now on a brand new set of hard tyres. So Russell into P4 now. Russell back on strategy and is in P4. Really, really good performance by George to be last of the runners. Obviously, after that issue with into T1 with his teammates, having to take a new front wing. Maybe benefited, of course, from the safety car with the pack being closed up. But another race of kind of what if, I think, for Mercedes. So it definitely had some pace. First retire this season for Hamilton. Yeah, he very, very rarely retires, Carla. He very rarely retires. So very rarely makes those mistakes as well. So yeah, at least he owned it. It's what I would say is that I think we see more of those sort of incidences in these cars. We've seen a few of like that sort of thing where like not leaving enough room. And I feel like these cars are so much bigger. They're the biggest they've ever been. And your vision is very limited, like your peripheral vision. Like they can't even see over the tyres into the apex and stuff, like that sort of things. They're extra wider than they've ever been. And I think that's caught a lot of drivers out in the past couple of years. So that's just a slight defence of it. But overall, it's a misjudgment by Lewis. And he had the grippier tyre to leave more room and sweep around the outside, which he's owned up to. And Russell there, quickest lap on the hard compound tyres, a 25.7. So be intrigued to see what Verstappen can do. But Verstappen struggling with tyre warm-up quite evidently here, as Piastri has closed that gap on the medium compound tyre to 5.8 seconds. Wow, so Verstappen struggling to warm up the hard compound tyres here. So maybe this time around the lap will be a little bit better for him, as the gap seems to be edging out a little bit more. But we kind of saw the same with Piastri struggling to get past Albon in the first couple of out laps on the tyres. So yeah, we'll be interested to see what Verstappen's first full-time lap is here. It's definitely not purple, that's for sure. It's green, but it's not purple. So it's not going to be quicker than that of George Russell's. But, well, maybe it will be. Maybe he's set green sectors everywhere and it will still be the fastest lap, as George sets another purple middle sector. And Verstappen goes in with a 26.2? Was it a 26.2? Was that a bit delayed? Oh, only a 26.2 from Verstappen there. Okay. Fair enough. Well, we'll see if that gap increases any more, if he can keep up that lap time this time around. As George Russell does a 26.6, so a bit slower in the last sector. And the Red Bull's notorious for not being able to work the tyres. You think? Oh, I think the Red Bull's been very good at working the tyres this year. His seat is burning. I know. Thank you for the subs coming in, guys, by the way. Much appreciated. Wonk Donk, some names here. Wonk Donk, thank you. Wim, thank you. Websley, Brijesh earlier on. And anyone else who was subbed during this stream and it hasn't shown up as an alert, much appreciated, guys. Much appreciated. So yeah, still another pit stop for these guys to make, minimum. That is for sure. Russell, of course, the only one who has made 3 pit stops at the moment due to that first lap incident. So I'd be interested to see if anyone makes kind of a splash and dash at the end. I think there's probably going to be. Lawson will be pitting soon. So will Tsunoda, Magnussen, Stroll. Leclerc and Alonso will be pitting not too soon either. So Piastri, the gap to Piastri and Verstappen is 6.4 seconds at the moment, as Verstappen does a 26.0 and Piastri does a 26.4. So Verstappen's hard compound tyres starting to come in now, and Piastri's medium tyres starting to drop off a little bit. And importantly for Norris is that he is slightly quicker than that of his teammate at the moment. Slightly fresher compound tyres. But as Perez gets another track limits violation, guys, he has got 5 to his name now. So is it he gets an extra 2 additional, and then on the third one he gets after being received a penalty. But Perez has been given a investigation, incident involving Perez under investigation, track limits. So what has he done there? What has Perez done there? But let's have a little rundown of this race thus far, guys, as it's very spread out at the moment, as you can see on the track map. This is because of the out of sync in regards to pit stops. So we have Verstappen in P1, Piastri P2, Norris in P3. Russell currently up in P4. Good result for him at the moment. Leclerc up in P5 where he started. Alonso in P6 as his seat is absolutely burning his ass. His words, not mine. Ocon in P7, Bottas P8, Gasly in P9, Stroll up 6 positions in P10, but about to make a pit stop. A bit out of sync there at the moment. Perez in P11, and Perez has received another 5-second time penalty for track limits. That's 2 5-second time penalties he has received today. Yeah. Magnussen in P12, Albon in P13, Tsunoda P14, Zhou in 15th, Lawson 16th, Hulkenberg 17th, and Sargent in 18th. And of course, Hamilton down there in 19th position, a retiree after his first corner incident, as we have a slight delay here in the track map. Come on, sync back up, please. There we go. 3 to 4 years ago, Perez was known as a tyre whisperer. Really bad runoff late this year. Yeah. He's just struggled with the car in general and setting up the car. Yeah, it's been quite widely reported that Max has discovered a way to set up the car to extract the pace out of it, but it's quite difficult to handle. It doesn't suit Perez's. Perez has tried to copy that because he's seen the data that that's how you get the pace out of the car. But he can't drive to that way. He can't drive a car that handles in that way where Max can. And yeah, it is a skill issue. It's a skill issue that Perez cannot drive the car set up and as quick in a way that Max Verstappen can. And he has refused, by the sounds of it, to go to setups that suit him and his driving style compared to Max's. But he would be slower than Max. So I can see from his perspective why he would want to give that a go and see if he can adapt to that driving style. But it just hasn't worked for him, and that's why he's failed miserably. And it's just giving him a massive confidence hit, and that's why we've seen the performances we have. Similar situation to Danny Rick at McLaren. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Was that a similar situation? Was that how Danny Rick... was that how it was? Like the setup of the car was different to Norris, or Norris was like the same situation? Norris was able to extract the pace. But yeah, kind of to an extent. And especially, if you're driving a car that you feel is on edge and you don't feel comfortable in, then it's very, very easy to lose lap time. And especially when you're being directly compared to your teammate, Max. So, Oscar's on fire, a 26.3 last time around. Well, yeah, he's doing well. He's got enough pace to hold off his teammate Norris. Verstappen, 25.8 last time around, though. So, yeah, seems to have really switched on those hard compound tyres now, as we have some more pit stops, which will take these guys to the end. We have 18 or 17 laps of this race remaining. So the guys who are pitting now will be able to go to the end of this race on the set of tyres that they're about to put on. So that will be Stroll, Magnussen, Lawson, Hulkenberg, and Bottas. So we now have guys Gasly, Alonso, Stroll, Albon, Lawson, and Bottas who get one more track limits violation. They will end up, they will end up losing, will end up getting a 5-second time penalty. So yeah, that's 6 cars, 6 drivers. The car didn't suit Daniel at all. Not sure about setup. It's probably a combination. Of setup, the way the car drives, and he couldn't get it set up in a way that suited him. There's only so much that you can do. The car in general was very bad for his start. Yeah, literally, I don't know for a fact, of course. Yeah. Right, so Verstappen setting a fastest lap there, 25.6. Guys, if you could hit the like button, if we could get to 100 likes, that would be much appreciative. What's that? YouTube. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, sorry, I was reading something popped up on my thing. Yeah, if you could hit the like button, much appreciated. We've got 250 of you in here. If you could get to over 100 likes, that'd be much appreciated. It helps push the stream and the channel. We a yellow in sector 16. Who went off there? That was very, very brief. Who went off? Did someone have an off while I was looking there? I got distracted. Logan Sargent had a lap time deleted. Oh, Sargent's feeling unwell. Sargent is feeling unwell and has to retire the car. The Williams team gave him the opportunity of... I wonder what's up with him. Has he been unwell all weekend, Logan Sargent? Wonder what's happened there. Daniel likes a strong front end and can work with the rear slip. The McLaren was complete opposite, solid rear end but understeer. Yeah, he very much struggled under. He struggled in the under braking as well, which is where Dan has been very, very good under braking. Stroll now has a track limits violation. He is the second driver today to get a 5-second time penalty for track limits. Of course, Perez has had 2 5-second time penalties today, 10 overall. As we have Sargent in the pits, he will be our third retiree. Sainz didn't even start of this race. So Norris chasing down his teammate Piastri might get him towards the end of this race as we have 15 laps remaining. 2.7 seconds between Piastri and Norris. Norris has been slowly chipping away at that that gap, that Piastri has. What a solid weekend it would be for Piastri, a win. Something's not right with Sargent. He feels really bad. As Norris goes fastest in the first sector, a 31.2, half a second taken out of his teammate Piastri there. So I think that could be the fight that we need to keep an eye out on towards the end of this race, as Russell is looking quite comfortable for a P4, as they've pretty much outdone Ferrari here on strategy, because Leclerc is going to have to pit considerably earlier than Russell, and Russell will be able to pit and be on a much quicker tyre at the end of this race. But very much Verstappen's race to lose at the moment, looking very comfortable there. Alonso in P6, 16 laps into this tyre. Ocon in 7th, Gasly in 8th, Perez with another 5-second time penalty, as Gasly now gets a 5-second time penalty for track limits violations. And we have Lando Norris overtaking his teammate Piastri as Piastri comes into the pits to change onto his last set of tyres for this race and take him to the end. Yeah, hope it's just dehydration, nothing serious. Yeah, we'll see. Might have had a stomach bug or something. Food poisoning from the night before. You never know. You never know. But yeah, come on, you can 100 likes. Max leads the pit by lap 52. Yeah, he'll go onto a set of soft tyres. He has a set of soft tyres to run towards the end of the race. Get fastest lap. Clean sweep for him in this race. Fastest lap and winning the race. So Leclerc into the pits now, as we said. So brand new set of tyres, can only run them 18 laps, and he is in the pits. So he'll be on the medium tyre to the end of this race now. See if he can make up any time to George Russell, but George Russell in a P3 at the moment, but we know that won't last as he needs to make one more pit stop. Interestingly, not interestingly, actually, it's the right decision. Piastri on the hard tyre to the end. It's too early to pit onto the softs. But let's see what Russell can do. What is his lap times last time around? 25.8 hard tyres. So Russell's still got 6 laps. No. Yeah, still got 6 laps on this set of tyres. Or 7, actually. 7 laps. As Norris comes into the pits now. Has he managed to do the overcut on his teammate Piastri? Let's see. Piastri, importantly this time around, though, for the first time today, hasn't been caught in traffic on his pit stop. So let's see. Is Norris going to get ahead of Piastri? It might be quite tight. We could see the McLarens going side by side down into the first corner. Here we go. Has Norris been able to do the overcut on his teammate? As I think they're going to go side by side down into the first corner. And no, Piastri just gets ahead of Norris. But Norris has definitely closed that gap to his teammate, as it is now only 1.1 seconds to Piastri and Norris, where it was around 2.5 seconds the lap previous to that. So, of course, Piastri has an extra lap of tyre warm-up. So let's see if that will be to his advantage and he can increase that gap to Norris while he has to get those tyres up to temperature. And well, as you can see, it's already 2.2 seconds between Piastri and Norris there. So Piastri needs to make advantage of this extra lap that he has on this hard compound tyre. But that looked like it might have been quite close between them down into the first corner for sure. McLaren's pit crew are doing so well today. 2.0 for Oscar and now 1.8 for Lando. Yeah, no, they've done well all season, McLaren. Even last year, or the last couple of years, they've had very, very quick pit stops. It's one thing Mercedes have always suffered and lacked. They've always suffered and lacked in their pit stops. Was it Qatar where Perez went last to first in the pink Mercedes? No, that was Bahrain. That was the Bahrain Grand Prix. The Sakir Grand Prix, I think it was, wasn't it? It was the one where George Russell was a stand-in for Lewis Hamilton because of COVID, and he should have won that race, George. But of course, it was close. It was close going down into the first corner. It was close going down into the first corner. But yeah, that was the one where he should have won that race, but he got the puncture, and then yeah, obviously there was the safety car and stuff. So Gasly has another 5-second time penalty. So 10 seconds in total now. 2 in quick succession for Gasly. Not doing very good at the moment. Gasly, he's throwing away, he's pretty much thrown away, or will throw away, a points position at the moment, the way it's going. I think he's going to have the pace to get past probably Bottas and Stroll, but obviously with another 5-second time penalty added to his name, he needs to build out a 5-second gap on those two. Otherwise, yeah, he won't be in the points. But Verstappen there in P1, lapping his teammate. Oof. Oh, that's a dagger to Perez's heart, guys. A dagger to Perez's heart, but his teammate has lapped him. So just looking at Logan Sargent getting out of the car. He really does not look good. He looks so weak. He really looks weak. As Albon has also got another track limits violation and will also receive a 5-second time penalty. So that is now, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 17 drivers today, guys, have received track limits violations. There are only, ignoring Sainz because he didn't start the race, there are only 2 drivers who do not have 1 track limits violations today. Do you want to have a guess? Let me know in the chat, guys, who you think are the only 2 drivers who do not have a track limits violation to their name today. George and Lewis are more focused on each other than they're rather working as a team. It was a little bit aggressive at the start, but Lewis was on the softer compound tyre. No, I said I'm excluding Sainz because Sainz didn't start. So it is actually, a couple of you have guessed it. Yeah, randoms just guessed it. It is Lewis Hamilton because he crashed out at the first corner, and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton are the only drivers who do not have a track limits violation to their name. And Max is the only driver out there who has done the full race distance thus far who doesn't have a track limits violation. So yeah, it just shows how comfortable Max is that he's able to keep it within track limits. Like he doesn't need to push it. Obviously, everyone else is pushing, hence why they've picked up a track limits violation, at least one. It just shows how comfortable he is in that car, but he doesn't need to push. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, Gasly getting 5-second time penalties. Oh, so we've had Gasly, Perez, Stroll, Albon receiving track limits. Alonso, Lawson, Bottas need one more, and they'll receive a 5-second time penalty, so it's not over yet. As Norris is flying now, he's got those tyres up to temperature of 24.8 by Norris. And Piastri replying, though, with a fastest first sector. So this is an interesting fight between Piastri and Norris. Really do you know what, guys? I'm so looking forward to next year already. Can we? I don't want to wish time away. I don't want to wish time away, but I do just want next season to start already, because hopefully everyone will improve. I think the McLarens are definitely going to be, by the looks of it, the strongest closest competitor to Red Bull. And Piastri and Norris, what a pairing, guys. McLaren's got a new wind tunnel this week back. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they got a new wind tunnel as well, so that'll help. That'll help them. I mean, genuinely today, pardon me, the Mercedes has had pace as well, guys. I mean, this is the thing. Mercedes has pace as well. the Mercedes, like Lewis was starting on the softs, so it would have been interesting to see how he would have been going. But George has been setting some great lap times today. Some great lap times. Of course, Max is managing, understandably. But the Mercedes had the pace today probably to fight for the podium. Well, they still are fighting. Were they fighting for the podium? No, probably not now. But definitely they were definitely front runners to get second and third today and be the best of the rest, that's for sure. But of course, the talk will be about a turn one incident and not obviously how much potential they had for this weekend. So yeah, looking forward to next year already. I think we're going to be in a good place. Team message is AlphaTauri. Aren't they basically taking the current Red Bull car into next year? Kevin Magnussen being told Bravo 10 position 4 and he's like, it doesn't make sense. I might clip that. Use that as a voice note. Smell pit stop for Max soon. Yes, see, well, 3 more laps. He needs to pit on lap 18. Needs to pit when those tyres get to 18 laps, guys. That's the most he can take. So George Russell will be coming in next lap as well. Be interested to see. I think he'll be going on to the softs. I think Russell and Max will be going on to a soft tyre at the end. We'll see. Maybe they'll go on to a medium just to make sure they can get it to the end. It'd be interesting if they do go on the soft and see how quickly they can actually go. Oh, definitely, yeah. Lando and Oscar, yeah. But you have to wonder, like, if they do go, if they are given an opportunity to go wheel to wheel, how will Piastri and Norris? How will that relationship go? Because Lando's feisty. Lando is feisty. You know he's hurting from that race yesterday with Piastri. And obviously this race today where he had the potential to maybe take it to Max or at least like secure a P2. Obviously with his qualifying performance on the Friday, but 2 track limits violations obviously made him start from 10th position. But Russell, is he going to come in and pit this time? I think he's got to, isn't he? I think he's got a pit on the 18th lap. So yes, George Russell pitting now. So let's see what tyre he goes on to. I think he's comfortably going to come out ahead of Leclerc. So it'll be a solid P4 for George. A great recovery from him. Just shows, as I said, the potential that Mercedes had for this race. But let's see if he goes on to the medium or if he goes on to the softs. What's George doing with his hands on the replay? I don't know. What did he do? Oh, let's have a look. He's trying to get some air, but you can see the power of the wind resistance pushing his hand back. So very, very hot out there. His hands were very hot. Wow, that's not something you normally see. He's actually going 300. He's going down the main straight at 200 miles an hour, going whoop, whoop, whoop. But his hands are going because of the wind resistance. So Verstappen in the pits as well. George has come out onto the soft compound tyre. Only 6 laps remaining. Not enough time for him to catch the McLarens, of course, but a great recovery race from him. Too boring of a race for you. Yeah, I don't think not too much has happened, in all honesty, is it? I mean, the different laps have made. George Russell had his visor open as he was coming down the pit lane just to get some heat into his, to get some cool air into his face. But yeah, no. In fairness, I think I'm not a big fan of this track. I mean, end of the day, there's one overtaking opportunity, which is down into the first corner. The DRS has been too long. So it's been very easy overtakes. No one makes an overtake at anywhere else on the circuit, do they really? Nowhere else on the circuit is there an overtake. It's only unless someone goes off circuit. There hasn't been any side-by-side action through the rest of the circuit other down into T1. I mean, the sprint race, there was a couple of instances yesterday where they went side-by-side through the second corner. But this race in general, we haven't seen that. And of course, with there being, I think actually, where I thought it might make things interesting with the mandatory pit stop, 3 pit stops. It's probably done the opposite. It's probably done the complete opposite, because no one's been able to try and risk running longer, trying an alternative strategy, and go. And we've not seen, and everyone's been kind of out of sync, so we haven't really seen any of that side by side action. So it's probably removed the element of a decent strategy, or yeah, people going long, people going short, etc. Because they're limited to that 18. The hard tyre can only go 18 laps. Like, it's become redundant. The medium tyre is the best tyre, because that's a perfect window for the medium tyre. It's 18 laps. So yeah, it's ruined. It's ruined the strategy. That probably would have made the race a lot more interesting. But even so, the track doesn't really provide a lot of overtaking opportunities. So. Mino said a few good overtakes away from the main straight yesterday. Yeah, in the sprint it was. I mean, that's probably where a track like this probably is a bit better. The tracks where you don't normally see overtakes, because they have to go for it. Whereas during a race distance, they know they can be patient. They know they can be patient and just wait for that easy overtake down into T1. Whereas in a sprint race, they don't have the luxury of that time. So maybe that's something for them to think of moving forward, is have the sprint races at tracks where it is tough to overtake normally, because that's where you see drivers force more moves. As well, there's 3 cars into one there, down into T1. Stroll, Gasly, and Perez down into T1 there, going at it. Maybe I thought we would see something similar to yesterday, but is Perez going to be able to make a move on Stroll into T4? No, but 3 cars into one there. We know how that ended up yesterday, but this time around they all get through. But just having a look at Gasly and Stroll the previous lap before. Ooh, not a lot of room left there. Stroll has, so we've still had Gasly, Perez, Albon and Stroll with their penalties. Still a few drivers there with 1 more track limits with 4 laps remaining. Stroll has another track limits violation, so he'll receive another 5-second time penalty. Stroll, so right on cue there. Let's see if those 3 go at it again as they head down through the last corner. This seems to be where the action is, as intriguingly enough, guys, I was about to say, Max has made his pit stop. That's why he's got a lot closer. Jesus, I thought there was an issue. Max 4.1 seconds ahead of Piastri there, as Russell is on the soft compound tyre and is already doing 26.4s. So that soft compound tyre does not last long whatsoever. Definitely not a good race tyre. Now I'm thinking about it, how long would have Hamilton lasted on that soft compound tyre at the start of this race? He probably would have lasted 3 laps before they bring him into the pits. Perez flirting with danger, sharing track with Stroll. The tyre one. I mean, I actually could bring it out even further, because Russell's the only one who's done 4 pit stops, but everyone's done minimum of 3. But yeah, the McLaren's there. Ooh, 3.8 seconds by Piastri and Verstappen. I tell you what, if there was a few more laps, maybe they'd get a bit closer. Verstappen getting a little bit of a dirty air issue, I think, from Tsunoda. Obviously, this is comfortable for him. But that gap is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be towards the end of this race. 4 seconds between Piastri and Verstappen. Interesting there. Of course, Max has managed this race. He hasn't really pushed that hard. So Max still has plenty in the tank if they was on top of him. But we'll see. Piastri and Norris set in exactly same lap times last time. Yeah. Right, guys, let's do, as always, with a few laps remaining, only 2 laps remaining, let's do driver of the day. So it's been a bit of a tough one, because I would say there's not, I don't know who I'd go for. To be fair. But I don't think there's really too many options other than maybe the front 4. We'll do it in the order. Oh my god, a delay on. Here we go, guys. There's the poll. Vote with the poll. Perez. More like donkey of the day. Yeah, DOTD means driver of the day, not donkey of the day, guys, okay? As George Russell has got a black and white flag for... Oh, he's one more. So, Max now getting his foot on the gas. A 125.2 last time around. He's made that gap out to 5 seconds. As there will be one lap remaining. We're about to go on to the last lap. As Gasly... Just going to bring this to you guys. Look how many track limits violation Gasly has got. Look at that. Look how many reds there are at the top. He's just like, sod it. I want all of the penalties. Give me all of the penalties. But here we go. So, will Lando have an opportunity to attack his teammate on this last lap as Piastri is getting held up by the car of Yuki Tsunoda? This is not good for Piastri as Tsunoda lets him through. But importantly for Piastri, there is no DRS between now and until they get through the last corner. But at the moment, it is going to be another storming win for Max Verstappen. A very comfortable win. Only 5 seconds ahead of McLaren. But I think push comes to shove. He could have pushed that gap out a lot further. Very, very much managing the race today. The only driver who is currently in this race who has not got a track limits violation. That just shows how comfortable Max is in that car today. And well, Piastri being chased by Norris there. This is the closest fight, I think, really on the grid at the moment as Max comes through the last sector and will be the winner of your Qatar Grand Prix. How many wins is that for him this season? 14. Most likely going to break the record for most wins in a season again. And well, here we go. Piastri round the last corner as Max comes across the line and is your Qatar Grand Prix winner again, leading from start to finish as Piastri comes across in P2, the sprint winner yesterday. A P1 and a P2 for Piastri. Norris up 7 positions into P3. What a result for the McLarens today. You think with them out of position, with those penalties, it was going to be maybe a little bit of a tough order for them with the pace that the Mercedes actually had this weekend as Russell comes round the last corner and will recover to a 4th place finish after that first corner incident with his teammate Lewis Hamilton. To be fair, that is some drive, I think, from Russell there. Well done by Mercedes with their strategy. And yes, what if for Mercedes, eh? Because they definitely had a car that could have taken it to the McLarens and maybe got a comfortable P2 and 3. Leclerc comes in P5, finishing where he started. Bit of a lonely race again for Leclerc. Alonso, whose bum is probably burnt to a crisp right now, as he was reporting, is in P6. Ocon comes over the line in P7. Not a bad performance from him after his incident yesterday in the sprint race. As we have Bottas in P8, Stroll in P10, Perez. Oh, there's lots of changes happening at the moment with the penalties being dished out. Time penalties. Where is Gasly eventually going to finish? That's where I'm intrigued. Gasly down in P12, Albon P13, Magnussen, Albon, by the way, who led this race at one point, guys, in P13. Magnussen P14, Tsunoda P15, Hulkenberg 16th, Lawson the last of the finishers in 17th, and that will be Lawson's last race in F1 for this year. Danny Rick is aiming to be back for Qatar in a couple of weeks' time. He wasn't actually supposed to race this weekend, but got a call during the week from Danny Rick that, hey, you want my seat? And of course, how could he say no? So yeah, unfortunately, Lawson, we may not see him for another year. May not see him until 2025. I really hope not. I really hope that he is given an opportunity. I think he's proved that in the short amount of time he's been in F1 this season. But yes, regardless, round the circuit and that he's never been at in a tough car, you can quite clearly see the AlphaTauris were not at the races this weekend with Tsunoda in P15 as well. But there we go, guys. There we go. Once again, the McLarens continuing that improvement that they've had in the second half of this season. It's great to see that gap slightly closer. As I said, I still think Verstappen had enough in the tank to probably widen that gap, but it's getting closer. It's getting closer, and the McLarens are definitely leading that charge. Mercedes could have been roles reversed today and been into P2 and P3 and been a lot closer to Max. Who knows? That's a what if. But yes, Max looking like he's going to break the record again for most wins in a season. And yeah, Leclerc, it's a shame that the Ferraris didn't have two cars fighting today. But overall, let's have a look at who your driver of the day is, guys. Give me your votes. George Russell currently leading with 30%. It's close. It's close between Piastri, Russell, and even Verstappen. If you can hit the like button on your way out, guys, we need 30 more to hit 100 likes. It'd be much appreciated if you can on your way out. So proud of the McLarens. I agree. Thanks, Highlight. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time for Qatar. That is for sure. Pastry and Nando's on top. No worries. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. He didn't need to win. He already won the championship. Yeah. But yeah, no, track limits driver. Who was your track limits driver of the day, guys? Who led the leaderboard? Well, here we go. Gasly. Seven track limits violations. Perez in a close second in 11th. Stroll in 18th. Albon in Stroll in 18th. Stroll with 5. Albon with 5. Sargent, Alonso, Lawson and Russell and Bottas were very close. One more and they would have received a 5-second time penalty. Norris, Zhou, Hulkenberg and Piastri with 2 each. Leclerc with 1, as is Magnussen, Tsunoda and Ocon. And the only name on there, of course, Hamilton went out on the first corner, so it doesn't count. But the only name on there who finished the race and ran the full race distance without their name on there is Max Verstappen. Wow. Wow. We have 2 weeks now. We have 2 weeks until... So there's no race next week. It's the week after that we have the Circuit of the Americas. And I believe we have 3 races in a row. Let me just double check that for you guys. Sky F1. This is where I go. I'll just go to the Sky F1 schedule. Yes, so we have, guys. Sorry if this is a bit bright for you. We have the United States Grand Prix, which is Circuit of the Americas. Then we head to Mexico the week after that. And then on the 3rd of November, we have Brazil. So yes, there's 3 races in a row. Triple header. Then we have Vegas, which is a week's gap after that. And then, yeah, so we end with 2 races in a row at the end of the year, which is Vegas and Abu Dhabi. So, yeah, there's a gap between Brazil and Vegas. And then, yeah, the season will be done by December, guys. Before December, the season will be over and done with. And we'll be in that period. We'll be wishing for F1 to come back. When am I streaming Super Formula? Probably in the week at some point. Probably in the week. I need to make sure that my wheelbase and my wheel is working first. So I'm going to do a race this evening. Like offline and record it. And hopefully I don't have the same issues I had yesterday. But yeah, I'll be streaming probably in the week again. But no, thank you, Monique. Thank you, Zed. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Yeah, it was... Overall, the race was meh. I feel like the mandatory pit stops, while obviously it was for safety reasons and had to be enforced, I don't think it was really... It didn't help. It didn't help. I thought, this could be a really exciting race, actually. It's going to add a load of variables to it, and it didn't. But a lot of the drivers, by the way, guys, are really struggling physically after this race. They are really struggling. Oscar Piastri looks absolutely, like, killed over. They look out of breath. Like, it's almost... I reckon it's probably on par there with probably Singapore because of the high-speed nature of the corners. They've probably received a lot of G. It's very hot as well. I think they've lost. They've probably lost quite a bit of weight there in regards to water weight. Don't really like cars, but better than no F1 at all. Yeah, exactly. If Hamilton took the lead in lap 1, where would he finish? Tough to say. Tough to say because I don't think the soft tyre had very good pace at all. I don't think it lasted long. George looked like he was struggling quite quickly on the soft tyre, so I think he wouldn't have lasted very long on the soft tyre. And yeah, I don't know. He would have been way out of sync in regards to the race. So I don't know. It would be interesting to see what their predictions were, Mercedes, in regards to that strategy, and where they predicted where they might have finished, like how far behind Max is an example, compared to just starting on the medium tyre and doing like for like. But yeah, I mean, Lewis seemed to be against the idea in the outlap. He was like, we're going to be a sitting duck to these guys on the soft tyre. So clearly not his decision, I think. Obviously been talked into it. But yeah, I don't think they would have lasted very long. They probably would have had to have pitted after like 6-7 laps maybe before that tyre drop off. So, no worries, Quincy. Thank you, buddy. You don't trust Lewis's radio calls at all. Yeah, but I don't think he doesn't really blame people when it comes to, like, if he's made a strategy call, he owned, like he did with the mistake, like when he did the incident, he owns up to things. So if you generally know if it's kind of a team-led decision or if it's his decision by his radio calls, I feel like you get that from Lewis. And I think like that was not probably his call to start on the softs. They probably wanted to split the strategy with George and with Lewis, and probably to help them probably to help keep them away from each other on track as well. Of course, it didn't happen. They came together on the first corner, but like Lewis got a great start. He did get a great start, and he should have quite comfortably have taken that position from George round the outside, but obviously just didn't leave enough room. So that was a good job opportunity for Hammy because Perez only scored 1 point. Exactly, yeah. Really thought he was going to close the gap on Perez there, but at the end of the day, Lewis doesn't care about P2. Like, none of these drivers do. They don't care about P2. You don't look back in the history books and go, oh, I finished P2 in the championship. You care about P1. You care about coming first and being the world champion. That's what matters to all of these drivers, to all of these teams. They don't care about finishing second. I mean, they do a lot of dummy radio calls like his tyres are dead era. Yeah. I think Lewis more recently though has been a bit more vocal in regards to like his disapproval of some strategy calls and some and things, because like he's frustrated, not necessarily had the pace in the car and things, and he's trying to maximize everything that he can. And starting on the softs, maybe he thought he was starting on the wrong tyre because the medium tyre was the race tyre. As you can see, hardly anyone ran the soft this race. So these guys want to fight each other, even in Suzuka, both of them were fighting. They're not working. No, not at the moment. No, not at the moment. No, definitely not at the moment. But yeah, there we go, guys. So that is the end of the Qatar Grand Prix. If you can hit the like button, we're nearly at 100 likes. 91 likes we have. Come on, there's 68 of you in here. You can hit. There's surely 9 of you in here who haven't hit the like button. Come on, you can do it. But yes, let's have a rundown once more of the Qatar Grand Prix. We have your winner and world champion, Max Verstappen, in P1. I think that's his 14th win this season. So I think he'll end up breaking... Did he win 15 times last season? Was it 15 was the record? There's still 5 races remaining. So you wouldn't bet past him winning every race, which... to the end of the season and just smashing that record that he broke last year. Piastri in P2 after his sprint race win yesterday, really coming into form, those McLarens, just continually closing that gap to Red Bull. Only 4.8 seconds this time around. Of course, this race was a bit different because of the mandatory pit stops, and Max was managing quite comfortably. Norris in P3, a good recovery from him in P, up 7 positions. Russell in P4, good recovery, massive recovery from him. Actually, who is driver of the day? Let's end the poll. 74 votes, and well, Piastri is... I'm closing the poll, guys. There we go. 31% of the votes. Piastri is your driver of the day, followed by Verstappen, Russell 24%, Lando 18%. Yeah, I think he's had a pucker weekend. Piastri. So yeah, Russell in P4 with the recovery drive. Leclerc, another lonely race for him, to be honest, down in P5. Alonso in P6. Ocon 7th. Bottas and Zhou, by the way, a double points finish for the Alfa Romeos there. Wow, what a result from them. Zhou finishing 10 positions gained. He was 19th. Oh yeah, I forgot that. He started 19th. Bottas and Zhou with the double points finish for Alfa Romeo. A great result from them. Perez up 10 positions into P10 after getting like 4 different 5-second time penalties. I don't know how he's managed to finish P10 there. Stroll 11th. Gasly with his time penalties finishing in 12th. Albon 13th. Magnussen 14th. Tsunoda 15th. Hulkenberg 16th. Lawson 17th. Sargent retired due to illness. Hamilton obviously out in lap 1. Just looking at the cool-down room. And Oscar's like, I need to lie down. Max walked in and went, has someone got a wheelchair? Just looking at the incident between Lewis and George. Oscar. He's brilliant. He was like, thank you, Mercedes. They are all absolutely knackered. Oscar was like, it could have gone any better. It was perfect at the start for him. They all look absolutely knackered, and that's just obviously, yeah, it's understandable then why Logan, if he wasn't feeling 100% already, if some people who are feeling fighting fit have had that issue and they're struggling now, yeah, completely understandable then. But Logan, if he's not feeling 100%, but they're there 6 weeks later next time. But yeah, there we go, guys. That is the end of the Qatar Grand Prix. Much appreciated for everyone dropping by. Welcome to the new subs. Thank you. Who do we have? Who did I miss? Professor King was the only one who came up as an alert. Of course, don't always pop up as alerts. So big thank you to everyone. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully, COTA is a bit more interesting. We have another sprint weekend at COTA. So I will try and make the sprint shootout and the sprint race on that Saturday. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the gap is closing, I think, hopefully, between McLaren and Red Bull. And hopefully we can have some different winners towards the end of the season. But I wouldn't be surprised if Max continues that streak and wins the last 5 races and just smashes the record. So why have I got Japanese GP Suzuka tags in the description? Probably because I forgot to change them. I need to change them. Sprint's more exciting to comment on. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it might be now with obviously the nature of the longer races. Red Bull just has it in the bag, and I think the sprint races probably whereas people were giving it more of a go towards the end of the year. But yeah, have a lovely rest of your Sunday, guys, wherever you are. Thanks for dropping by, and yeah, we will catch you in a couple of weeks' time at the Circuit of the Americas. Of course, I always do my sim racing content, so yeah, be sure to tune in for that as well. So have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you then. Bye.